G'day XETLA, Steve from XETLA Consulting with another quick wisdom clip. This one won't be as quick as the previous ones in the series because this topic requires more time to cover. That topic is project status reporting. Based on many years of experience running some very technically risky projects and developing a lot of scar tissue, then I'm a big fan of the traffic light reporting scheme. Sounds simple, and it is. It's a great way of quickly getting across the status of the project. You just look at, is everything green? But there's some tricks to making sure that it works properly. Okay, so let's start at the start. Got a lovely big juicy project, and you've got it divided up into tasks, allocated the resources appropriately. Again, building on that, how do you eat an elephant? A piece at a time. You've got all those pieces sorted. Beauty, set some expectations on the four corners of project management. Scope. Schedule, budget, quality. All agreed, expectations set. Right, let's go. You've also set a project reporting period when you've got to come back and report how your particular task is going. Okay. As the name would suggest in the traffic light scheme, green is good. Awesome, expectations are being met, things are tracking really well. Awesome, cool. Orange means that expectations aren't being set, something started to drift. Building on the adage that you never go to your boss with a problem you haven't already solved, the team leader for that particular task outlines how they're going to address the issue or issues to get it back into green for next reporting period. Awesome. Believe me, that happens quite a bit, especially in R&D. Things rarely go according to plan, so there's no cause for alarm bells on a green to orange. It just means pay attention. Things start to get a little bit more interesting if next reporting period that same task is still orange. What didn't go according to the plan that you had to revert it to green? Okay, again, I've got it mapped out. It turns out it wasn't this, therefore it's probably that. If it's that binary in its options, okay, that's highly encouraging. Awesome, let's go. Now, if you end up in your third reporting period and that same task is still orange, that's cause for consideration of whether you turn it red. Red in a traffic light scheme obviously means stop. Take a deep breath. Evaluate what's gone on. And again, it's not necessarily a magic 3 idea, but first 2 tries didn't work. Definitely requires some close attention and consideration of turning red. Have a think about whether the task is still viable, what its impact is to the rest of the project. The reason why that's important is whether the rest of the people working on this particular project continue doing what they're doing, or is it so potentially threatening to the viability of the project as a whole that it's worth stopping and maybe even pulling those resources into helping fix whatever this particular task issue is. Then you reset the expectations, reevaluate schedule, cost, etc. Red, as I said, is stop. The transitions are interesting. So red into orange, yeah, like I said, in R&D especially, seems to happen all the time. Not cause for alarm. A constant orange, that's definitely cause for a lot more attention to be paid, maybe even in a transition to red. So a transition from orange into red in terms of overall likelihood, yeah, certainly something to pay attention to, but perhaps even more vital to the attention that needs to be focused from the project manager is if you end up with a scenario where we've got a transition from green straight into red. What happened to orange? Where was orange? Why is this the first time I'm hearing about this? Stop situation on this particular task. It may well be a rapidly escalating development that kind of always had that risk built into it. If that's the case, then it's annoying, but you just need to work your way through it or not, and call the halt, maybe to the project as a whole. There's some other perhaps more interesting, sinister possibilities. Sinister is perhaps too strong a word. One is that the team leader for that particular task isn't confident to report the transition into an orange. It'll be right. It'll come good. It'll come good. No, it didn't come good, and it's all gone into one big horrible mess. And help. So red is stop. Red is help. You don't want a company culture where your task leaders aren't comfortable in reporting a transition from green into orange. Come up with a plan on how you're going to get it back into the green, knowing that they've got the support of the team as a whole, the group as a whole, will help alleviate that kind of issue. There's another possibility that project managers tend to skip over because it's obviously all the worker bee's faults. It's not yours. And that's a situation where your reporting period is just too long. If you've got a rapidly developing task, you need to adjust the length of your reporting period to suit. So if the things just like to keep comfortably ticking over, maybe arbitrarily, a fortnight's fine. If, however, you're developing really rapidly and the amount of significant work you need to report on means that a fortnight is too long, the scenario of why is it going from green to red? Yeah, it was orange ages ago. Where ages ago in this case was 3 or 4 days ago. Then look at adjusting your reporting period to suit. So again, rapidly developing task, shorten your reporting period. Good practice. Turns out that there is a technical name for it, believe it or not, called management by walking around. Yeah, go and have a word with the team leaders. Hey, how's it all going? Don't micromanage, don't hover over them, but if it's a particular high-risk task, then the team leader's going to know that that's the case. You just say, hey, look, just here to check in. Not that I don't trust you, but just curious to see how things are going. Knowing that you're there to support them rather than to micromanage them makes a huge difference because that's your job. You want the project to succeed. So have a think about adjusting your reporting period, rapidly developing projects. Maybe, again, you report every week. If that then matches into step with other tasks that are slowly developing and ticking over into every 2 weeks, fine. If you've got a task that's likely to heat up later on, but at the moment it's really just, on the back burner, so to speak, then maybe every 4 weeks is fine. Adjust it to suit. That makes a big difference to the reliability and the confidence that you should have as the one managing the project as far as the reporting periods are concerned. Okay, that's a bit of a longer talk about that particular topic, but there's still so much more that we could cover. Some other project management areas that are worth a good look into are some techniques you can use for quantifying uncertainty. Often really hard is how uncertain are we about that particular task, that cost, those kind of things. There's some really simple, useful tools for doing that. We can talk about that later as well. Let me know if you're interested. Speaking of evaluating things, there's another really good tool to look at before you even take on a project, which is a weighted project evaluation scheme, where before you even start, you apply this particular technique to figure out basically whether you're likely to make any money out of it or not. Not that complicated, really useful, ends up with a magic number which makes stakeholders really happy, and we can talk about that one later as well. Okay, you lot, that's it for this clip. It's turned into a bit of an epic, almost 10 minutes long. Good grief. Hope it's useful and stay curious.